All right. Good evening. Thank you for joining us again, Dr. Liao.
Very happy to join you. Children's Airway, first and foremost.
Thank
So,
you. Yeah, always love it when you're on because I always learn something new and I love all the information that you share with parents. So I'm not going to do a super long intro there because I know you've got tons. But I will let everybody know. I'll put a link to the last podcast in our show notes and a link to your books, which are on our recommended reading list. So
thank
with
you.
that,
Yeah.
I'll give it to you now.
Okay. Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get the show on the road. Today, we're going to talk about your child's best face, how to nurture top health and natural glow using my method. So today's presentation is going to be a layman's version of this article I just got published in the Journal of American Orthodontic Society, the voice of general and pediatric orthodontic practitioners. Okay, so we're going to talk about mechanics that is artificially imposed versus epigenetics, which is nature expressed. All right, so let's start with this case that really was the beginning of this epiphany, that there's another way to grow the child's face. So this is the same person, but they have a completely different look.
That's amazing.
And so what happened, right? The difference is not from orthodontic mechanics. In fact, the face you see on the left is a failure of orthodontics.
Okay.
And she came to me, and I said, to her request, which is I've ground through my night guard, and you can see the holes here, that my orthodontist had given me 4 years ago when my braces came off. And can you make me another one? I asked her, I said, would you like to repeat the definition of insanity, or you want to treat the root cause? And she said, there's a root cause? Yeah. Well, I said, there is a root cause why you have this gaping gap between your upper and lower front teeth. The reason why you're tired, the reason why you have stuffy nose and habitual mouth breathing, which contribute to all of this. She said, really? And mom says, well, if there's a root cause solution, let's go for it. Okay, so here's a close-up of what she looked like 3 years after braces. You can tell she had braces because she had these lingually bonded retainers on the side of her lower front teeth. We never treated her lower arch, okay? So she's got this buck teeth, she's got this upper arch that is actually too small, okay? So what are we gonna do different? This is, like I said, 3 years after braces.
Okay.
So this is the result of this, a series of arch wires. They all have the same arch form. Okay. So every one of these just gets stiffer and stiffer and stiffer. Okay. And so that's what braces do. They basically string up all the teeth like boxcar on this rail.
Okay.
Now, who says this is going to fit your child's teeth or my granddaughter's or your sister's? This is like cookie cutter.
Okay.
And so I call this the artificially imposed. Now, we figure out what's off, where, and how much that contributed to this narrow airway, this head posture, and we figure out that her upper jaw is actually deficient in 3 dimensions. Okay, so this is too narrow side to side, this is too narrow front to back, and this is too narrow up and down.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so if you think of the tongue's home office, here's the upper jaw, here's the lower jaw. In between is the home office for the tongue. So in my book, I call it 6-foot tiger, 3-foot cage. The 3-foot cage represents the 3 dimensions for the tongue. The tongue's home office, if you will. And that tongue, in this case, is squashed like a accordion in the closed position rather than the open position.
Right.
So how do we open it? Well, clearly one way is to use an expander, but we also pair it with a diet change because she has stuffy nose, which leads to open mouth breathing and tonsillar inflammation and the tongue strap. So we took her from here to here using our approach. And in the process, here's the objective evidence. This is a CT scan. Here's the nose. Here's the lip. Here's the upper teeth, lower teeth. Here's the airway.
That never gets old to see that dramatic change. That is just, I mean, pardon the pun, but that's just breathtaking. That's amazing.
It really is. Well, good pun. Great pun.
Yeah.
So how do you read this color representing the airway on this scale is this. White and blue are the good end. Red and black is the bad end. So we took her from 120 square millimeters. That's where the minimal area is where the airway collapses in sleep apnea. And we were able to take it to 276, which means that we more than doubled her airways choke zone. In the process, we grow her airway 3 times. And this has lifelong consequences. So she went from here to here, and her posture went from here to here, and she got recruited to be a part-time model. Okay.
Wow.
So we published this case to show that we can fix teeth grinding. Remember, she came to me because she ground her hole through night guard.
Right, right.
We can fix teeth grinding using an expander appliance, a new kind of expander appliance.
Right,
And
because again, the grinding was the symptom because she wasn't getting air.
right. The highest risk factor associated with teeth grinding is obstructive sleep apnea. All right. So this has got enormous implications. First and foremost is that teeth grinding is not just a dental problem. Okay. It's one frame in a movie, and the movie is called Airway Obstruction During Sleep.
Okay.
All right. The evidence for that, one of them anyway, is this research paper that says during CPAP titration, this is the mask that forces air past the choke zone here, okay? With pumping air, room air and high pressure. And so during CPAP titration, that is how much pressure should we put in? Most breathing abnormalities were eliminated and a complete eradication of teeth grinding events was observed. So enough pressure to open up the airway, teeth grinding stops. Okay, so now we know this is a Band-Aid at best and maybe contributed to relapse of orthodontics. And I would say failure of implants. And various other dental troubles. We need to pay attention to this when teeth grinding happens, which is the airway. Okay, and when you have teeth grinding, you don't just have dental problems. You will wake up tired. You have morning headache, fatigue, aches and pains, clicking, popping, locking jaw joints, anxiety or depression, brain fog, poor memory, high blood pressure, in addition to multiple dental troubles. So this is why it's called a syndrome. Okay, syndrome from a structurally impaired mouth. All right? So this is the beginning of my realization that impaired mouth leads to a bunch of medical, dental, and mood troubles. But this is new to many dentists and physicians around the world. So today still, okay? I coined this term impaired mouth syndrome in 2017. And today it's still like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Why does the apple fall downward, right? You figure that out, you can lead to space travel. If you figure out impaired mouth syndrome, why behind impaired mouth syndrome, you will solve a lot of problems, not just dental problems, okay?
Right. Okay.
But here's the big takeaway. Epigenetics, the new way, is to facilitate gene expression to bring on your child's best face with behavior and environment change. Okay, this is according to CDC's definition, and I'll show you that in the next slide. But look at this. If you were to find the root cause of this and figure out how to close the lips and retrain, you can have a completely different face. This is the same patient. Okay, so epigenetics means in addition to genes, on top of genes, what can you do to bring on the best version of your child's face? And the answer, according to CDC, is you can use behavior and environment to affect how genes work. So she came in looking like this because her gene didn't have full expression. We can bring on fuller gene expression with the epigenetics method that I'm going to describe to you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's do it.
How am I doing so far?
You're doing great.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so epigenetic represents a new approach. Okay, so if you ever wonder, geez, would I need to pay an orthodontist bill when my kids get to their teens? And you don't have to anymore. Okay, would I grow up to be handsome or beautiful? You don't have to worry about that anymore, because the best version that your child inherits from his or her genes from both parents can be brought out. Right? So this is what best face should look like. High cheekbones, convex face, not flat, not concave. Okay. You look at this one, she's got a witch's profile, right? Well, why? Here's the reason why. Okay. The upper lip is flat when you look at it from the back, from the side. That always means that there is airway trouble. When you have airway trouble, nothing in your body will go. Not your growth, not your development, not your oxygen supply, not your mood, not your brain, not your memory, not your athletic performance, not your facial glow. Nothing's gonna work. In fact, if you get sick, you don't come back as well as others who have a better air. We call this lips drop straight down from our side, Liao sign. We need a simple 4-letter word to describe it. Okay. So see this so often when I first got started in this practice, that I gave it a name. It's called Liao sign. And so anytime in profile, the upper lip is sunken, instead of being out at an angle like this, it's like this. There's a problem. Okay.
Got it.
So this is the reason why we need an airway mouth doctor to be in charge of the upper airway. The upper airway consists of these 4 zones. Okay. The 5th zone is in the trachea, which is ringed and it doesn't collapse. But zone 1, 2, 3, 4 is very susceptible to Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law means anything that can go wrong will, right?
Right.
Nose in zone 1 is where the air enters the body. Okay. Zone 2 is behind the soft palate or the upper jaw. Zone 3 is behind the tongue, which is behind the tongue. Okay. All these 4 zones must work well must be fully functional for you to get a best face. So this is a new
Okay.
concept, right? And you need an airway mouth doctor to do this, to help you do this. So in upper airway, that's what I teach to AMDs to become, teach dentists on how to become airway mouth doctors. Must
Okay.
become diagnostician of all these zones, and then know how to become a craniofacial architect to bring on your child's best face. And it's never just, you know, braces, clear trays, or anything mechanical and all. It's
Or
always
pulling teeth.
whole body health wellness. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's a case where this patient is free of dental cavities, but she's got a runaway facial development in the wrong direction. All right. So the dental office that mom took her to focuses on fixing the cavities, and then she never once looked at her face. This is what we mean by whole health wellness.
Right.
Anytime you have stuffy nose, you have to breathe through your mouth, then your face is going to go long, and then it's going to go. And that's how you're going to end up with crowded teeth. It's inevitable. So, what good is a cavity-free set of teeth in this mouth?
Right.
Face, right? So somebody need to look after that, and that's why we want to consult with airway mouth doctors who will make sure all these 4 zones are fully developed, wide, and healthy. Okay, so the centerpiece for your child's best face and your top health is going to be this purple bone. So look at me. Corner of the eye, corner of the mouth, ear to ear. That's this purple bone.
That's the purple.
Okay. Okay.
Got it.
So a fully developed maxilla, you look at the face from underneath, means that it's wide enough for all the teeth to line up straight naturally. When that happens, the tongue naturally has room to stay in the mouth and not have to go into the throat.
And it would be full, right? There's no
Yeah,
gaps.
yeah. Okay. So research has been done in the field around the world that people with white faces, natives who have not bought into Western civilization practices such as, you know, white man's diet, for example, they would naturally have this. They didn't even have toothbrushes. They didn't have dental floors or CVS or orthodontists or pediatricians, and they're able to get this. All right? Why and how? Well, it turns out, long story made very short, if you have wide dental arches, you'll end up with straight teeth, and everything else in this body will work well, including childhood. When you have narrow jaws, crooked teeth, everything else in the body, including childbirth, pays the price. This is work done by Dr. Weston A. Price, and Sally Fallon made this slide based on to summarize the teachings from this Weston A. Price Foundation. So this has got wide implications, right? We treat this for a reason. We treat this for her whole body health, not just for her smiles, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. This is responsible for her postural twist, for her collapsed foot. And if this is not caught early on, she'll be a regular at the chiropractors and the medical doctors and psychiatrists even. Never mind divorce court. Okay. So how does this happen, right? We see this all the time now. This is more the norm rather than the exception in dental offices now, if you were to ask most dentists. Well, thank goodness, research Dewey is in. Pediatric obstructive sleep apnea in non-obese children is a disorder of oral facial growth. That means when your jaw and face fail to grow, you'll end up with sleep apnea.
Mhm.
So the next question then becomes, okay, who's trying to take charge of oral facial growth? We don't have anyone yet.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So it certainly has not been pediatricians' focus,
Right.
and it should have been the most logical, right? It certainly has not been the pediatrician, pediatric dentist. It certainly has not been orthodontist focus, okay? So here is an example of what this research shows. Is it too many teeth or too little jaw? How do we end up with this choked airway? Okay, so remember we said red and black is in
Right.
okay, blue and white is good, right? Well, this kid is in serious trouble because the jaw failed to grow, just like the previous slide says, okay? Now, this is important to know. If you make the wrong diagnostic decision or treatment decision, you take out the too many teeth, it looks like. This is what happens. These are a pair of twins.
Okay.
One's on the right had teeth taken out for braces. The one on the, I'm sorry, the one on your left. The one on your left had teeth taken off for braces. The one on the right, her twin, did not. Get the difference. So, which face would you rather? I can predict to you that the one on the left will end up with many more health trouble, not just dental. So here's an example. He reached out to me from Western Australia, right in the height of pandemic. He says, I want to kill myself because I hurt so bad. And you look at her and say, geez, you got gorgeous straight teeth. What's there to complain about? In fact, that's what her family said to her. Wow. We say, then pay for your braces. How come you're moaning and groaning every day? Well, here's the reason why. Her airway is in the red and black zone. She's in big trouble. Okay? And she said, my lower jaw collapses through my throat. I can't ever take a full breath. And the pain makes me want to kill myself. This is the result of having only one set of these teeth called premolar, that's in front of the molar, when she should have two per quadrant. Okay, so she should have two of these in every quarter. She now only has one because the other one is being taken out and the space is closed. And so she's got a 6-foot tiger in a 2-foot cage now. Smaller than most people, okay? So this is what I mean, right? How is this art form going to be right for this patient, right? So instead, we try to grow the jaws. So there are gears here you turn, which is painless, because each turn is only 1 hair's width. So this goes out week by week. In adults, there will be 1 hair's width, in kids, 2 hairs width, because kids get to twice a week, okay? So this is an adult, look what happened. Again, we more than double her airway volume and her minimum cross-sectional area. And this is what it looks like in the mouth to go with the face, okay? So literally, we rescued her from suicide clinic. And this is done during the pandemic with only telemedicine. So we need to know that there's a new class of dentists, new breed called airway mouth doctors, who can treat these issues, not just these. All right, so dentists fix teeth, airway mouth doctors fix. MAS here stands for mouth airway sleep issues.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
So when you activate mouth airway sleep, the patient can thrive, the patient can recover from anything and nearly everything. You can't sleep, you can't recover. But if you don't have a wide open airway, your body's going to struggle during sleep.
Mhm.
All right. So all four zones must be wide open. And when they are made from narrow to wide, the patient can thrive. So here's the next case. We'll come back to pediatrics. So here's a little girl, around 9 years old. Mom was already a patient undergoing this treatment herself. And she said, I think my daughter needs your help. So this is one thing that AMD does. The AMD does not look at crowding without some kind of idea of how to treat. We call that 3D jaw diagnostics. Okay, so in this face is this airway. Why is this airway like that? Well, AMD is trained to do this homework to figure out that in this case, side to side is too narrow by this much on the upper and by this much on the lower. So they both need expanders. And here we can figure out that her vertical height is okay, but her front and back is not. So we need to know how to treat. And here's what we did. We designed our appliance based on that. And look what happened. This appliance took her from here to here. Okay, this is one year. The day it went in, the girl went from here to here. Okay, and it becomes a template, like a goalpost for the face to grow toward. It's like a guide. Okay, so here it is pre-treatment. Here is 50 months later on this program. Okay. So she used to have a deep underbite. She does not have nearly the underbite anymore. In the process, the duckling turning into swan. It's all because we were able to grow her face. And I want to emphasize that this is not, when I say we, I don't mean just the airway mouth doctor. I mean parents, mothers in particular.
Okay.
Because appliance treatment is paired with a bone building diet. Okay, and more. So the bone building diet consists of green smoothies, which is the best from the plant kingdom, and bone broth, which is the best from the animal kingdom. Again, with lots of greens in it. This is a pair of turkey wings. So I still remember the price is $3.02 for a pair on sale. So this is not expensive. All you do is fill this with water. Here's leeks and tomato. Underneath the wings are a bed of carrots and celery. Fill it with water, plug it in overnight. The next morning, your house smells like Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so people say, well, what do you put in green smoothies? There's avocado, there's peach, there is blueberries underneath. It's a handful of arugula or kale or spring mix, whatever you want. Okay.
Okay.
This is this
And
is
what's on the spoon?
this is optional chocolate powder.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And you blend it up, it's like that. Okay. So sorry about this. I was invited to speak to a Chinese nutritional group, and they were interested in how airway ties in with nutrition. And so I had to fix that later. But here it shows, this is my own blood sugar readout. So before I drank this, it was 95. After I drank it, it's 84. It actually lowers your blood sugar. Okay, your body likes this. So that's a plant side. the animal side, well, you all know that when you put your turkey soup after Thanksgiving into the fridge, when you go to take it out, it's gelatin, right?
Right. Right.
Gelatin is not soupy because it's not watery, because why? Very rich in bone-building ingredients. So we combine that with vitamin C that's rich in here, and magic happens. You will grow the maxilla, you will fix snoring and mouth breathing, which is nothing but congested nose, soft tissue in the nose.
Gotcha.
You're going to raise beautiful children. You'll see more kids' cases shortly. You get everyone on this got facial radiance. When people sleep well, the face glows.
And I saw on the other slide you said no coffee, or it had no coffee, no egg.
Say it again.
On the other slide, there was no coffee, no egg.
Oh, yeah. You don't need, this is a power breakfast. Right.
Right.
Yeah, you can put a little bit of coconut, a tablespoonful of coconut oil in there if you're an adult, and plus the avocado, you will sustain yourself for breakfast.
Well, that's why I'm checking. This is just for breakfast. Or are you saying just no coffee, no egg ever, or just not in this?
Oh, no, you can substitute it. You know, for example, if you say, well, geez, what's a breakfast without eggs and coffee, right? Well, believe it or not, some of the rest of the world don't do that regularly.
Got it.
And some people have allergies or sensitivities to eggs. That's a very potent source of nasal congestion that leads to snoring and mouth breathing. Okay, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So this is, I've since developed my own appliance, and it's called a Start Thriving Appliance. The name is not important. The important part is that this is always paired with a bone building diet. This is what airway mouth doctors learn to use to grow the face and the maxilla. But the important part is that when you combine it with this, great things happen. And you'll see shortly.
And this is both for children and adults.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And the part I love best about this is that, and the patient too, you can almost see he's smiling. Okay?
Yeah.
We do all the drills
no
outside the mouth, okay?
Yeah.
There's no shots, no drill, no pain. And when you combine it with this bone building diet, which is the part the parents provides at home, this can happen.
It's just stunning. So
the mother of this this child on the left and the right, of course, was a naturopath from the Philippines. And she went to dental school after she came to America and became a dentist. But her naturopathic degree is always with her. And when she took my training to become an airway mouth doctor, because as a naturopath, she was naturally interested in how to grow her child's best face, right? And so she noticed that her daughter was waking up tired and getting unrested after starting braces. Her issue included headache, focus, singing voice, loud snoring, okay? And so she took the diagnostic records and we did our homework. We figured out what's off where and by how much. Now notice that a naturopath daughter is very good art form. She was not in the negative to begin with.
Yeah.
So, but there's some problems like right here, her jaws are over closed. Okay. So she has very good genes, but she grew up in America, and you know, part of high school peers pressure would lead her to eat some junk food, right? Well, okay. So she had her daughter's braces taken off and started this treatment. So this treatment basically stretches the lower jaw into this parking spot that's built into the appliance. Right?
Okay.
So this becomes a template for the face to grow into.
Oh, okay.
That's built into the appliance because we do our homework here. So we know how to design the appliance to bring on this difference. And so 2 years later, this is what it looks like underneath that fully developed face.
It's just mine.
Now, where is this?
Wow.
Needed. Okay. This is what nature intends for this child to have, based on the genes inherited from both parents. This is the full genetic potential brought out. Now, the child is lucky, right? Because mom was already a naturopath, so she was not never in the fast food nation, right?
Right.
Now, all she needed to do was to add this and what the AMD does, and then we got this result. So this is the objective evidence from the CT
Holy
scan.
smokes.
All right, so she went from here to here at a glance, but numerically, we gained her airway 50%, and we gained her almost 100% in the narrowest area. So in other words, the choke zone now is quite as wide, rendering her not susceptible to airway collapse anymore. You say, well, okay, so what? Well, here's what happens. She became a national champion in sleep and debate for homeschool children. Okay. So here's a breakdown of her baseline symptoms: sleep disruption, snoring, headache, inability to focus, vocal stress, and fatigue.
Okay.
So we asked her
times a night?
using a scale of 0 to 10,
Okay.
rate each one of them, and then do the same after 20 weeks of treatment. That's a little over a year. So she went from 54 down to 11. That means she improved 43. You divide 43 into 54, you have an 80% improvement. Okay. No drugs, no pain, no sweat. She didn't even have to go exercise, right? And no braces. All right. And
that's amazing.
look at how many awards she won. And when she said, when everybody went up to congratulate her, they all commented about her smile.
I know, it's a gorgeous smile, and it goes.
Yeah.
Like the full mouth. In the beginning, there was a little bit of a gap, and now that's gone.
Oh, yeah. And so your child's best face is defined as room for all the teeth to line up straight naturally inside a fully grown maxilla. When you have fully grown maxilla, you'll have this. When you have this, you're gonna have everything working for you inside and outside in school in the real world. So
I just
what
can't
we
get over
can
that
say,
airway. That's amazing.
yeah. What we can say is that clinical epigenetics can bring on the best face for top health and peak performance. Because what this airway does is to take away the recharging of battery during sleep. What this does is fully charge a battery.
Right.
That's it. So now we know how to enable this. So this is my granddaughter. It was my son's question. How do I bring on the best health for this granddaughter of yours that inspired me to write this book? So this is what she looks like at 12 years old. Now, my son happens to be a chef. So 90 to 95% of her food is eaten, prepared by a chef at home. Okay. So if you look carefully, there's spacing between her front teeth.
Right. What you're supposed to
Okay?
have.
That's healthy. Yes, that's the way it should be. Now, no appliances needed to grow the best face. Okay. This is the full genetic potential. All right. So all of this is listed, and the same principle works for adults and children. So this one is for parents who will feel like, oh my God, I'm tired from being on a high-speed hamster wheel. Okay. You can relaunch your vitality using the same principle by opening up the airway, improving sleep. Now you have all the energy.
Right.
If you have a bad airway and therefore you can't sleep, you're going to be prone to depression and anxiety.
Sure. Yeah.
Or here is a reversal. Okay. So this girl came to me 4 years after braces, 3 years in my epigenetic treatment later. She looks like this. Here's what it looks like in the mouth. Here's what it looks like in the mouth. Okay. So we use this expander appliance. The gaps of these appliances used to touch when we first got started. Okay.
Okay.
Now they're wider.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play this video because it's priceless coming from her.
Okay.
I give Dr. Liao permission to use this footage.
Thank you. So you have some gains on the medical front recently?
Yes, I've decreased my Lexapro usage from 20 milligrams down to 0 in less than a year.
In a year's time?
Yes,
Wow. And what were you on that FlexiPro for?
depression and anxiety.
I see. And you also had something called
Wellbutrin, seasonal affective disorder, which has also gone away.
It's gone away too?
Yes,
And that's a result of,
the mouth appliance.
really? Well, I'm impressed. I'm happy for you too. Yeah. So, what happens to you after you stop taking the LexiPro and Wellbutrin?
I feel less flat emotionally.
Oh, you do, huh?
Yes.
Well, we'll come back to the human race.
Thank you.
You can see that this is fun. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, how do you not cry over that? I guess maybe because that's a mom thing, but that's just actually, and that's so moving and so emotional that.
Yeah, it's a really important because so much of, you know, what the moms have to put up with is really the result of the kids having to put up with something that's not diagnosed or not managed correctly.
Right.
It's not the doctor's fault because no one in dental school got taught this.
Right.
mean,
we hear that all the time.
I had to hack my way out of the jungle. And I had, you know, as an engineer, I got to dental school and I said, teeth grinding just does not make sense. Why would the body destroy the hardest tissue? Right? And none of the answers I got ever met the common sense test. So how does a night guard solve that problem? Well, 35 years of that nagging quest led me to this. So just know that this is not taught in medical schools or dental school.
No.
And just about all the medical doctors and dentists around the world does not know this. If your dentist or doctor knows this, well, you've met an exception.
You're lucky. Yeah.
Okay. So I looked up LexiPro's side effects. Look at this. Nausea, dry mouth. How about trouble sleeping? Constipation. Okay. Come on, right?
Right.
How's your child gonna grow when they have trouble sleeping? Right? Okay. So, mom, what do you buy from your doctor? I would submit to you, it's not just the appliance, right? It's not just the braces. It's not just the trinkets of white fillings, gold crowns, stainless steel brackets and wire, right? Not your veneers, right? It's what? You want health, you want vitality, you want natural glow, right? You want this kid who will bounce out of bed after a good night's sleep and say, wow, I feel like I can take on this world, right?
Right.
Yeah, Okay, so now that you know about epigenetics,
Mhm.
the real force here, okay? And now you have your part to do, because I want to talk about what's I get a lot these days. This is called a concerned mother. It just came. Okay. And she said, look, I don't want my 10-year-old daughter to have long-term health issues from what dentists want to do.
Mm.
All right. Here's a very smart mom. Okay.
Yeah.
So look at classical mechanics versus the new epigenetics. Okay. Like I said, this is never just an appliance alone. It's always combined with a bone building diet. Okay. So we want spaces between front teeth. When your child is growing without the spaces in the front teeth, like you should be
That's a
able to fit the
sign.
you should be able to fit the width of a nickel between the front teeth.
A
Then
nickel.
your jaw is not growing sufficient. Then you
Okay.
really need the help of an airway mouth. Okay.
Mhm.
So here are the principles. The four original things must be absent, and the presence of normal physiology must be present. So the four original things are tongue tie, which looks like this.
Mhm.
This is a tongue tie, okay? And whenever you have tongue tie, you're gonna have crowded teeth and narrow jaws. We don't have enough time to go into that in full detail now. Suffice it to say, tongue tie has to be addressed. And mouth breathing and nasal obstruction must be addressed. So tongue tie come from very often hypothyroidism with the child and the mom. And that has to do with what you eat and your standard American diet and gut inflammation. So whatever that goes into the mouth, down the gullet, whether it's from your dinner table or from drive-throughs, they'll have consequences.
Okay.
And then toxic elements and pollutions I'll cover shortly. So we have to have presence of these four things in order to bring on the best face. So we covered this already. Fresh home cooking, well, you understand that better. Tongue tie would lead to abnormal swallow. And of course, when you have nasal obstruction, you don't have lip seal. You have to breathe.
Right. Sure.
So we focus on these things first. This is how those natives got to have their best face without needing any. So we would use an appliance assist if needed, okay, and we'll design these appliances using 3D jaw diagnostics. That's what AMD does. So let me go over some of the things that you parents can be doing.
Okay.
You look. First, you look. You grow your eyes to see the red flags early. So this picture pretty much captures most of the things to look for.
All
So
right.
you have the child tip their head up, look upward, and you can see all these. Are the lips apart? Are the lips chapped? Is the nose wide and symmetrical, or are they narrow slits and asymmetrical?
Okay.
When the nostrils are asymmetrical, the maxilla is asymmetrical. And the eyes very often are not level. And the ears very often are not. Now the kid is in trouble. All right. And we'll show you what it looks like when the child is here. Let me just show you this. I'll just put this here for you. Because that will grow into adults like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is what we have, because trust me, this concept, this way of seeing impaired mouth syndrome is just not taught anywhere. Okay. So if you want to avoid this for your kid growing up, you need to look at this. Now,
Okay.
let's start with nasal obstruction and mouth breathing because they're connected, right? So here is the brain, here's the eyeball. This is the frontal view of the CT scan. Here's a nasal passage, here's a sinus, here's the upper jaw. This is a healthy specimen because the nasal tunnel has soft tissue in gray and air corridor in black.
All right.
In
So it's
a very
okay.
good proportion.
Yeah.
Here, you don't see so much black.
Right.
Here, you can hardly see any black. So this person has to breathe through their mouth. Right? And so where did that come from? Well, I want to show you this. This is Mediterranean blue. I took this picture when I went to Sardinia to receive an award. And I was stricken by this cerulean blue. This is what the sky should look like. And so, Mom, check the sky over your head. It's not all your fault.
Right. This is
You know
this
how
will
much-
be where I say this every episode. Check
It's
that
not
mama
your
bear
fault.
guilt at the door. You don't know
It's
what
not
you
your
don't
fault.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's not your
Just
fault. that
start
your
from
sky-
here.
The sky over your head is not as blue as this, okay? But there are things you can do. And that's what this next section is about before we close. So this is a pile of snow. 1 week after it fell in my neighborhood. This is suburban DC. Okay. We have no heavy industry here. We only have lobbyists and congressmen. Okay.
Right.
We don't have car makers here. Okay. So here's evergreen, here's cement wall, here is pavement and a little park by the pond. And this is a pile of snow. Here's evergreen, right?
Mhm.
Well, how does snow become this black in a week's time in a non-industrialized suburb? It's only from car pollution, okay? Just because you don't smell it doesn't mean it's not there. But
Right.
what about the water you drink? Okay, that's only the air, right? How about the water? All right. Well, here is a water filter that's new and the same water filter 6 months later.
Amazing.
So when you go out to eat, guess which water you're getting?
Right.
Filter water, right? Okay. So this is part of the reason why, okay? Not only that, we can also see that this mouth is slanted.
Mhm.
Yeah. The seed for going to the chiropractor is already planted in this 12-year-old. All right. Not only that, U.S. Geological Survey admits that pharmaceuticals is in your tap water. Guess what? When you eat in a restaurant, that's if they use filtered water or tap water.
Mm.
Chicken. Those of you who are health hackers, you might want to look up this book, Big Chicken, written by a investigative journalist, Marilyn McKenna. She documented how the chicken industry after World War II used antibiotics to create a new way that the world eats. They basically came out to with a campaign that they want to raise juicy white steaks to compete with red meat. And they succeeded, right? Everybody's meat of choice is now what?
Chicken, right?
Okay. So there's antibiotics, and then there is this. It's not gluten, most likely. It's more likely glyphosate. So this is a study by Dr. Stephanie Sennett, right here.
Okay.
we correlated the use of glyphosate with the percentage of celiac disease diagnosis, gluten allergies, if you will. You cannot come closer than that for statistical match. So now and Roundup is everywhere now. And I won't even go into the lawsuits associated with Roundup melon cancer. But here, you can go to EWG, Environmental Work Group's website, okay? They now made a report in 2018 that breakfast with a dose of Roundup. This is in every oat-based cereal. Okay, so this is what mothers are faced with. I have many patients who go to Europe and they say, geez, I can eat the bread there and I don't get any reactions. Well, guess what? We were standing in the pool of water. The European acceptance level is only up to your calf. This is up to your neck in the US. Okay. We allow 6 times the European level, okay? Because guess what? The glyphosate manufacturer is a US based.
Oh.
Okay, here's an experiment I did. Feel free to repeat this on your own. Here is an organic bread bun that I bought from a bakery near me. And this is a organic tomato. I left them both out for a week. The mold in the air would attack this tomato, it wouldn't touch this thing. What's your conclusion?
Right.
Right? There's something in here that's bad for the mold.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be good for you? I don't know.
No.
All right. But all is not lost, okay? I'm going to close out by saying to you that if you pay attention to this, it works for you, mom and grandma and all the adults, okay? This is one of the AMEs was in my class. This is what she looks like 6 months later, from left to right. This is what epigenetics can do for adults. Again, we did our homework, and because they're adults, we can survey the treatment outcome, okay? She had an 86% improvement on all her pains from mobility difficulties, acid reflux, waking up mid-sleep, sugar cravings, went from 7 to 3 in 9 months, okay?
Neck tightness.
6 to 0, neck tightness, 5 to 0, fatigue, 5 to 0, 5 to 1, okay? So she went from 70 to 11. Her life quality just went up, and that's why she looks like this. Right? So we now know that epigenetics, when you grow this part, is good for your whole body, not this way. So Paul Chek wrote an article in 1993 called Totem Pole Hierarchy of Survival Reflexes.
Okay.
Guess who's on the very top? Breathing and
Breathing, yeah.
yeah. You can breathe and eat trash, diet. Well, guess what? You're gonna have narrow jaws and choked airway and all the troubles. Here's one of the adult patients. She was 27 on the left and 29 on the right. In between, she gave birth to a child. You're not supposed to look better.
Right. That's why that's why I exhaled.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Here's another one. From here to here. She also gave birth to a child. No braces. That's what this says in Chinese. Okay.
No braces.
No braces. Okay. Well, you say, well, they're still young. Well, depends on your definition of youth, right? We don't have any threshold age where this does not work. Here's pre-treatment. She had braces with teeth taken out. So extraction, retraction, orthodontics. So they all look like this. So from here to here is 18 months. But I want to show you what she looked like in profile.
Holy smokes.
Okay. She got so confident that she divorced and she's now dating happy. Okay, so you know, there are red flags for your child's best face, and we have a version for adults too.
Okay.
And what you need to do is find a doctor who can help you get this done and get this done. And that's it.
And that's it.
This is
That's it. It's
nature's
just
way.
easy.
This is
Yeah.
nature's way, okay? There is a reason why this went from here to here, and she went from here to here, like all the other kids. Same logic, same principle. We allow your gene to show up, your best version.
Mhm.
And so the best face is already encoded in your double helix DNA. We can
Mhm.
now do that.
We just have to bring it out.
Yep. And now we know how to do it. So with that, I want to thank you for having me again.
Yes, thank
This
you.
is how you can reach me.
That is awesome. And thank you for that. And I will put links to everything that you mentioned in our show notes. And I will make sure that, you know, any of the graphics or the research that's out there publicly, that'll be in there too. So parents don't have to dig around for it.
Right.
So thank you for coming back and sharing all of this again.
You're most welcome. And if you want details and these cases, they're written up in these two books that are meant to be reader friendly. They're 90 pages, 71 slides, and you can flip through that in probably 2 hours.
That's amazing, which
Yeah.
is what parents need. That's perfect.
Yep.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
You're very welcome, and thank you for having me. I totally enjoy it.